Hey guys, it's Courtney King here with King Realty Management. I'm sorry I'm a little late today because I've been out in the field running around. But I hope everybody's having an amazing Wednesday today. So one thing that brought this whole live chat up is I had a client, I helped them rent a house last year, and she called me and she said, Courtney, we're ready to buy something. And so in the midst of all the normal questions that I ask, the one thing that I don't think they thought about is the lease. So they're locked into a lease until, I don't know, later on in this year. And I said, whatever we do, even though you're ready to buy right now, whatever we do, it's really important that we take care of that lease in the proper way, okay? So I think sometimes what people do is they think, oh, I'm buying a house, you know what, the lease and stuff doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. But guys, at the end of the day, a lease is a contractual obligation. And so my advice to all of my clients, if they are in a lease, is we've got to make sure that we close that chapter in the right way. Because I think what people forget is that the lender, if you're financing your next home, the lender is going to want a rental verification. So they're going to contact your landlord anyway to make sure that you pay rent on time and all of that. And if your landlord says, oh, yeah, they pay on time, but they still have 6 months left in their lease, then that could be a problem. And so here are a couple of tips that I gave to this particular client. And heck, I've used this even when I had apartments. So number one, communicate with your landlord. Some landlords are very, very, sticklers and just very strict and by the book. But there is a way that you can communicate and really show them that, hey, I am thankful for the opportunity to rent your house, but I have a new opportunity to buy a house, and I want to make this a win-win. And if you present it that way, a lot of times these landlords will communicate, okay? Let's say they don't, and let's say they shut you right down because, hey, I've dealt with some landlords that are like that. Then you kind of look at it from a business perspective. So these particular clients are ready to buy a house now, or let's say within the next 30 to 45 days. Well, you can let your landlord know, hey, it actually may be in your best interest to re-rent the property now, which is the peak renting season, like when the kids are out of school, summertime. That's where there's a lot more qualified tenants looking to move. And you can say, I will accommodate all showings. I'll make sure that the house shows very well and is all tidied up for you so that you can secure a tenant now versus having a possible vacancy in the dead of winter in November during the holiday season when everybody knows, myself included, properties move a lot slower. So sometimes if you can't really appease your landlord just from a communication standpoint, then you say, well, look, let's look at it from a business perspective. I help you get a lease in the summertime for another year versus you having a vacancy for, let's say, 60 to 90 days because you have a winter vacancy. So that's another way. But I think the biggest thing is communication. The biggest thing is respect. And then sometimes I've actually helped clients where they're like, I'm locked into a lease. My landlord won't let me out unless I find another tenant. So I'll work with that particular client, get the landlord's permission, of course, but we'll find another tenant to replace them. That way they can make a clean break. But guys, it's really important that you, just from a overall principles perspective, comply with your obligations. You signed a contract, fulfill the contract, and keep it moving. Instead of just letting it go to the wayside. Not trying to be a negative Nancy, but I had a tenant of ours that just was like, I'm buying a house, I just went out of this place, broke the lease, moved out, no notice, all of that good stuff. 3 years later, actually back up, they actually didn't buy a house, they moved into another property, right? But 3 years later, they wanted to buy a house, and guess what? they came back to me and they said, oh man, I see I have a broken lease on my credit report. I have to pay it in order to buy a house. And so by then, interest has accumulated and all this stuff has accumulated. Now you have to go through the hassle of paying the landlord off, getting it all corrected and reflect that it's all been paid off on your credit report. And it's a big pain when they really could have just avoided it by doing the right thing, complying with the obligations. If you want some more tips on how to approach your landlord if you're in the market to buy a house, definitely reach out to me, comment below, you can private message me, visit our website. We have some awesome tips for home buyers just like you. It's kingrealtytx.com. We're also on Instagram at kingrealtyhtx and at kingrealtydfw and youtube.com/kingrealtytx. I hope this was helpful. I definitely think that it's necessary to have this sort of conversation because not a lot of people do, and it's just important that you in one chapter of your life in this rental property in a positive way, and then start the next one in a smooth and positive way. So that's what we're all about. If you need me, you know where to find me. I will see you next week. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of the week. Take care.